Blackpink just lit the fuse on their so-called deadline tour. And honestly, it delivered exactly what many feared: a half-hearted encore to their Born Pink era. The tour kicked off on July 5, 2025, and right out the gate, it felt more like a recycled memo than a grand return. Same set list, slightly more energy, even less imagination. And then there's the name, Deadline. Not exactly a word that screams excitement. It sounds more like a corporate timer about to go off, not a global celebration of pop royalty. But let's not sugarcoat this. Their comeback wasn't greeted with universal applause and roaring fireworks. Their new track, Jump, debuted on opening night, and instead of leaping into hearts, it tripped over expectations. The live performance at the Goyang Sports Complex had the internet buzzing, but not in the way YG might have hoped. Within hours, clips flooded social media. Then came the forum firestorm. On Korean boards like the Coup, fans weren't pulling punches. One post mocking the song skyrocketed, with users calling Jump everything from B-side filler to so bad it's actually funny, harsh words. But the most brutal reactions weren't even aimed at the girls. No, most of that heat landed squarely on YG Entertainment. Years of anticipation, and this is the rollout? Meanwhile, across the digital ocean, international fans rallied like it was do or die. Twitter threads lit up with praise, calling Jump fun, vibrant, and not meant to be dissected under a microscope. A carefree anthem, they said, and they might have a point. Because despite the criticism, Blackpink's YouTube subscriber count surged, climbing dangerously close to the 97 million mark. That's not a small ripple, that's a wave. But here's the twist. People, we haven't even heard the studio version yet. Every opinion so far? Based on a shaky live stream and a crowd cam clip, so before we crown it a flop or a masterpiece, maybe we wait, see what Jump sounds like, with full production behind it, because YG Entertainment, true to form, has always played by its own rules, ignoring feedback, treating Blackpink like a limited edition brand drop, the bare minimum, wrapped in glossy packaging, and with a name like Deadline. Maybe that's not just the tour, maybe that's YG's internal clock running out. If you're just as torn as the rest of us, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments. Was Jump a misstep or a misunderstood banger? And don't forget to subscribe for more pop deep dives just like this. Because this doesn't feel like a triumphant return. It feels like a last-ditch Hail Mary from a company gasping for relevance. After such a long, silent wait, you'd expect fireworks. But instead, the vibe surrounding Blackpink's comeback feels off, forced, like a performance, trying too hard to hit notes that no longer resonate. And honestly, that eerie energy is classic YG chaotic. Last minute, suspiciously desperate, then came Jump, the track meant to reignite the fire. Instead, it split the internet like a fault line. But that wasn't the only red flag. The tour itself felt rushed, flat, uninspired. The girls showed up, but the styling didn't. No bold fashion moments, no iconic silhouettes, just average outfits that faded into the background. And this is Blackpink we're talking about. Every world tour, up until now, had signature looks, moments etched in style, fits fans still cosplay years later. But this time, nothing to remember. And that's where things start to get sketchy. The girls, to their credit, finally looked emotionally present on stage, but the show around them, lifeless. No stage vision, no creative sets, no storytelling, just bodies on stage, moving through the motions while lighting effects and backup dancers tried to fill the void. The artistry that once made a Blackpink concert an event? Gone. What we got instead looked like something thrown together at the last second, more about securing ticket sales than crafting a moment. And fans noticed. This wasn't met with global celebration. It was met with raised eyebrows, confusion, and a rising tide of conspiracy theories. Remember back on February 5th, when YG suddenly dropped a teaser for a 2025 world tour? No dates, no cities, just a poster, with nothing but vibes. At the time, the girls were still deep in their solo projects. There was no build-up, no comeback buzz, just a tour announcement out of nowhere. Some fans even joked that 2025 World Tour wasn't a teaser, it was a placeholder someone forgot to update. And now, people are starting to connect the dots. Was this actually planned, with Blackpink's full involvement? Or did YG scramble to tape over a leaking ship? The timing is too strange. The rollout, too chaotic. And the silence from YG? Deafening. Whispers are growing louder that the label might be facing financial strain, and that this tour wasn't a celebration, but a cash grab, a pressured return, a duct-taped dream. If this sounds less like a comeback and more like a cover-up, hit that like button, let us know in the comments. Do you think Blackpink wanted this, or is this YG's way of keeping the lights on? Make sure to subscribe if you want more breakdowns just like this, because we're only getting started. This doesn't feel like a world tour. It feels like a corporate defense strategy, a frantic attempt by YG to scream, "See, we still have Blackpink." After months of contract drama, delays, and radio silence, and if there's one thing YG Entertainment has mastered, it's not consistency in artistry, it's consistency in chaos. With Blackpink, it's always been messy, always reactive, and now it feels like we're watching the creative engine of YG sputter in real time, a slow-motion collapse disguised as a comeback. Let's rewind to last year, where even the finance world had popcorn in hand. A market analyst from Hyundai Motor Securities, yes, even the money guys were watching this circus, made a painfully honest forecast. YG's future rested on two fragile pillars: Blackpink's full return and Baby Monster's breakout. And honestly, the writing was on the wall. All of K-pop's big four were hurting, but YG was bleeding the hardest. Their Q2 sales tanked by 43%. That's right, 43%. Sure, they still managed to rake in around 90 billion won, but when the dust settled, they posted an operating loss of 11 billion. Compare that to the year before, a shiny 29 billion won in profit. That's not just a stumble, that's a financial nosedive. Fast forward to now, and things feel even more desperate. A full world tour? With only one new song? That's their plan? That's the big reveal? Like tossing a single lollipop into a starving crowd. It's not a comeback. It's a distraction. A corporate Hail Mary, wearing glitter and LED lights. And look, as a blink, I want to be excited. I want to celebrate the girls being back on stage. But if we're being honest, this tour wasn't born from creative fire. It was birthed from boardroom panic. The rollout felt rushed. The messaging was a disaster. And the worst part, the girls deserve so much better. Blackpink didn't return to the throne. They were pushed onto a lifeboat to keep the brand afloat. And now, enter Baby Monster, the second half of YG's shaky survival plan. 2025 began with them finally dropping a debut album and dripping out singles. Like a leaky faucet, another full-length album is supposedly coming this fall, but given YG's history, let's not hold our breath. Their newest single, Hot Sauce, just dropped this week, and already it's tearing the fandom in half. Some listeners are vibing, others, they're smashing the skip button before the chorus even hits. And the critics, they're not mincing words. If you're still with me, drop a like. Share your thoughts in the comments. Was this tour a celebration or a cover-up? And don't forget to subscribe for more honest takes on K-pop's biggest moves. Because, trust me, this story is far from over. Critics are already dissecting Baby Monster's latest drop, and the consensus isn't pretty. Hot Sauce leans so far into retro 80s hip-hop it crosses the line from homage into full-on parody. Sure, if you listen closely, you'll hear echoes of old-school icons Seo, Taiji, and Boys, maybe. But that's where the praise ends. The structure, repetitive. The hook, flatlined. And the vibe, less Y2K revival, more kids' cartoon trying to cosplay street culture. It's the kind of track that makes you wonder, does YG even know what they're doing with this group? Or are they already secretly blueprinting the next monster behind the scenes? And honestly, maybe that's for the best. Because this rinse and repeat cycle, overloading one group with all the pressure while starving them of support, that's YG's oldest, laziest trick in the book. It's been this way for decades. In the late 90s, it was one TYM with Teddy. Then came the Golden Age, Big Bang, and 2NE1, the unstoppable pillars of YG's empire. Then came Blackpink, who didn't just dominate K-pop, they became its global fate. And now, it's supposed to be Baby Monster's turn, the next torchbearers. But here's the real problem. YG hasn't evolved. They're still operating like it's 2009, still treating idols like seasonal trends, not long-term artists. Instead of planting roots, they chase spikes. Temporary hype over permanent growth. And in 2025, that strategy is more transparent and more exhausting than ever. Just look at the receipts. They brought back 2NE1 out of nowhere, teasing fans with nostalgia. But was it a genuine reunion? A celebration of legacy? No, it felt like a calculated stunt, a flashy gimmick to juice the numbers, a final Hail Mary wrapped in sequins. And blinks, we see through it. We've always seen through it. If Blackpink weren't the unstoppable global juggernaut they are, most fans would have pieced out years ago. YG barely listens. They rarely communicate. They toss out crumbs and expect you to throw a parade. But let's be crystal clear. The only reason Blackpink survived wasn't YG's management. It was the girls. They kept it alive. They carried it. And when you compare their post-YG solo work to what they were allowed to do under the label, the difference is night and day. The creativity, the control, the freedom, it speaks volumes. They were never just faces for the brand. They were the creative force the entire time. YG, just the leash holder. And let's not forget YG's infamous curse, the post-Burning Sun fallout that still stains their boy group image. From 2019 to 2022, scandal after scandal dragged the company through the mud. And when the brand was crumbling, it was Blackpink who kept the lights on. Not the executives, not the PR spin, the girls. If this breakdown hits home, smash that like button, comment below. Is Baby Monster the next big thing, or just YG's next cautionary tale? And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the chaos behind the curtain of K-pop's biggest empires. Now, YG says they're shifting gears, putting focus on Treasure, on Baby Monster, on launching brand new girl and boy groups. But let's not pretend we don't see what's really happening. Right now, YG is still milking the legacies of Blackpink and 2NE1 for every last drop. And as for 2NE1's future, it's all just smoke and mirrors. There are whispers of a comeback, rumors swirling that CL met with Young Hyun Suk recently. But if you're a fan, don't get your hopes too high. Because in YG land, a coffee meeting turns into a headline and then quietly disappears into nothing. Meanwhile, some Reddit threads are clinging to a sliver of hope that Blackpink might surprise drop an album mid-tour. And sure, it's a nice thought, but let's be honest with ourselves. There's been no official announcement, no teasers, no lead singles, no press. Right now, this is a tour with one new song. That's it. And for some fans, that's starting to feel like something bigger. Maybe this isn't just a comeback. Maybe this is a farewell in disguise, a soft goodbye, masked as a celebration. There's even a whole thread on X with people saying it's giving serious final chapter energy. Others are frustrated because once again the show feels less like a group comeback and more like 4 solo stages stitched together. Yes, we love Jisoo, we love Jennie. Ha, X-Egg. We love Rose. We love Lisa. Their individual artistry, unmatched. But when we show up for Blackpink, we want Blackpink. Not a rotation of solo sets, not 4 islands pretending to be one universe. And if you're a fan outside of Korea, North America, or Europe, brace yourself because your city probably didn't make the list. Latin America? India? Australia? Entire regions are left asking, did we even get considered? And if this first wave of tour dates is all we're getting, then yeah, it starts looking less like a celebration and more like a cash grab. A rapid response plan to cover a company bleeding out behind the scenes because when you factor in the financial cracks YG's been desperately patching, it's hard not to see this tour as something else entirely. Not a creative milestone, but a desperate strategy to refill the vault. Not a love letter to fans, but a business memo wrapped in neon lights. But here's the part that defies all logic and proves just how powerful Blackpink truly is. Even with all this mess, the demand was volcanic. Tickets sold out in minutes. For Goyang Stadium alone, over 120,000 fans were in line. For a venue that only seats 40,000, that's not just high demand, that's a phenomenon. That's what separates Blackpink from the rest. Even when YG offers the bare minimum, Blink show up like it's Coachella and the Super Bowl. Rolled into one. They sell out arenas, they crash ticket sites, they flood social media with hashtags and heart because at the end of the day, this isn't about YG. It never was. It's about Jisoo. It's about Jennie. It's about Rose. It's about Lisa. They are the heart. They are the magic. And no amount of mismanagement can dim what they built with their fans. If you're one of those fans who still shows up, no matter what, like this video, share your thoughts in the comments. Is this a goodbye? Or just the messy middle? And make sure to subscribe, because whatever happens next, you'll want to be here for every second of it.